The rain fell hard on the cracked ground, cold and steady. Cole walked slowly through the muddy path, his tool bag over his shoulder. He was just a human repair worker, fixing broken water pipes in the refugee zones on the edge of the colony. No one else came this far. The place was mostly ruins, trash and silence, but Cole liked silence. It was better than the loud noise of the city. He reached the old generator box and started checking the wires. Just then, he heard a soft sound behind him. Like footsteps in water, he turned around, expecting maybe a wild animal or another worker. Instead, he saw someone standing under a broken roof, half hidden by shadows. It was a woman, not human. Her skin had a faint blue glow, and small silver patterns shimmered on her neck. She wore torn clothes and no shoes. Her arms were wrapped around herself like she was freezing. Rain dripped from her hair, her eyes wide and filled with fear. She looked weak, like she hadn't eaten in days. Cole took one small step forward. "Hey," he said gently, "are you okay?" The alien woman didn't answer right away. Then, in a shaky voice, she whispered, "Please, don't send me back." Her knees gave out and she fell into the mud. Cole rushed to catch her before she hit the ground. She was light, too light, like her body was running on empty. Her hands were shaking and her breathing was shallow. He didn't know who she was or what happened to her, but something in her eyes made him stop thinking and start helping. He wrapped his jacket around her and carried her back to his small shelter in the ruins. It was just an old storage cabin. He had fixed up walls, patched with metal sheets, a small heater, and one soft bed. He placed her gently on the mattress and wiped her face with a clean cloth. She opened her eyes slightly and whispered again, "I'll give you a child. Just don't abandon me." Cole froze, confused. What did she mean? Was she pregnant already? Was someone after her? He didn't ask, not yet. He just gave her a warm blanket and sat by her side. Outside, the rain kept falling, louder now, like the sky was trying to drown the world. Hours passed, and she finally fell asleep. Her body curled tightly like she was afraid of being pulled away. Cole stayed awake the whole night, listening to the storm and her quiet breathing. She had no ID. Chip, no name, no records on the scanner. That meant one thing: she was undocumented, possibly escaped, maybe even experimented on. In the early morning, she woke up, startled, looking around like a hunted animal. Cole held up his hands slowly. "You're safe here," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." She sat up weakly, pulling the blanket closer. Her voice was quiet, but clearer than before. "You didn't call them," she said. "No," Cole replied. "I didn't." Tears filled her eyes, and she lowered her head. "No one helps us," she said. "Not unless they want something back." Cole didn't know what to say. He had grown up hearing rumors about engineered breeders, female aliens created in labs and used for forced pregnancies. He never believed such stories were real until now. And this woman, whoever she was, had clearly suffered. She didn't trust him yet. But she didn't try to leave either. She stayed in the corner of the room, always watching, always silent. Cole made soup, and when he placed the bowl near her, she didn't touch it. But when he sat beside her and spoke gently, telling stories about the broken machines he fixed, she slowly reached out and ate. Her hands shook. But she didn't stop until the bowl was empty. She didn't say much, but she listened every time he moved. She watched his eyes, not his hands. She was used to pain, Cole realized, and waiting for it to come again. But he never raised his voice, never made sudden moves, and slowly, very slowly, her shoulders started to relax. Cole didn't ask about the child, not yet. He just let her rest. He gave her a new blanket, clean clothes, and time. She needed to feel safe before she could speak, and deep inside, Cole already knew whatever she had run from, it was worse than anything he could imagine. But one thing was clear. She had begged him not to abandon her. And he wasn't going to. No matter what came next, he was going to protect her. Even if it meant facing the shadows that chased her. The sun rose weakly over the ruined buildings. A pale light came through the cracks in the walls. Warming the small room, the alien woman woke slowly, her eyes blinking in the soft light. She was still wrapped in the blanket, still holding it tightly, like it was her last protection. Cole was already awake, sitting on a stool across from her, watching without speaking. He didn't want to scare her. She had barely spoken last night. Except for that one sentence offering a child if he didn't abandon her. That sentence still echoed in Cole's mind. But he didn't ask about it. Instead, he had made food: simple soup and bread. He placed the bowl gently on the small table beside her, then sat back down. She looked at the bowl, then at him. But she didn't touch the food. She didn't move. It was like she was waiting for something. Cole spoke softly. "You don't have to give anything." "Okay," he said. "You're safe here. No one's going to hurt you." She kept watching, silent. Then he started talking again, not about her, but about the weather, the tools he fixed. The engine he broke last week. Simple, boring things. As he spoke, her eyes slowly softened. Her hands moved, slowly, carefully, and picked up the bowl. She drank the soup in small sips. Pausing to glance at him after each one, Cole didn't stop talking. She only ate while he spoke gently. Like his words kept her from slipping back into fear. After she finished, she leaned back against the wall and whispered. They never used soft voices. Where I came from, Cole looked at her. You were in a lab, he said quietly. Not as a question, but as a truth. She nodded slowly. They trained us to obey. She said, not to think, not to feel. Her eyes looked far away. If we disobeyed, we got punished. She touched her arm, and Cole noticed thin scars running along her skin. They weren't fresh, but they were deep. He clenched his fists, but said nothing. He didn't want to push. She was opening up piece by piece. What's your name? He asked gently. She hesitated, then shook her head. I don't have one, she said. Only a number unit 7 beta. Cole frowned. Well, I'm not calling you that, he said. Trying to lighten the moment, you deserve a real name. She looked surprised, as if no one had ever said that to her. You can pick one when you're ready, he added, later that day. Cole tried giving her more fruit, some steamed rice, a protein bar. But again, she refused unless he sat near and spoke softly. He realized it wasn't just about food. She needed safety, peace, kindness, something she never had before. That night, she stayed awake longer, sitting up on the bed. She watched the rain hit the window. Silent, Cole repaired a small heater in the corner, trying not to disturb her. Then she asked, very softly, why are you helping me? Cole turned toward her, because no one else did. He said simply. She looked at him for a long moment. Most people just turn away, she whispered, or sell us back to the labs. Cole's jaw tightened. I'm not most people. He said, I don't care what they made you for. You're still a person, not property. Tears slowly welled in her eyes, but she wiped them away quickly. I don't know how to be anything else, she said. I only know how to serve. How to please, how to carry life. Cole shook his head. You don't have to be anything right now, he told her. Just be here, be warm, be safe. The silence between them wasn't heavy anymore. It was calm, like the quiet after a long storm. He didn't ask about the child again. He didn't ask who hurt her. He just let her feel like a person. Not a lab rat. For the first time, she lay down without curling into a ball. For the first time, she slept without shaking. Cole stayed nearby, keeping watch. Because deep down, he knew someone would come looking for her. But until that happened, he would protect her. Not because she begged, not because she offered anything, but because it was the right thing to do, and because, somehow, in this broken world, She had found her way to him, and he wasn't going to let her fall again. The next few days passed quietly. The alien woman, still without a name, grew stronger. Her eyes didn't flinch as much. Her steps were steadier. She even smiled once, just a small smile. When Cole gave her a clean scarf, Cole didn't ask. Questions didn't push her. He simply gave her time, space, and safety. They started to share small things. She helped him clean the room, folded old blankets, and arranged tools. Cole repaired broken panels on the wall while talking about engines and machines. She listened carefully, like each word taught her something new. At night, she stared at the stars through the cracked window. Sometimes, she whispered to the sky in a language Cole didn't understand. Then, on the fourth morning, the silence was broken. Cole was outside, working on a broken tower not far from the shelter. That's when he saw them. A patrol unit, marked in red and black armor, moved down the hill. 6 soldiers, walking in a perfect line, drones flying above them. They weren't ordinary peacekeepers, these were trackers. And trackers only came when someone wanted something back. Cole's stomach dropped. He grabbed his tools and rushed back to the shelter. The woman was sitting near the heater folding clothes when she saw his face. Her smile vanished. "Get in the back room," Cole said firmly. Now, she didn't argue. She knew the look in his eyes. She slipped into the hidden space behind the wall, a spot Cole had prepared just in case. He shut the panel and stood still, heart pounding. Then came the knock, hard, sharp, loud. Cole opened the door slowly, acting calm. 2 soldiers stood outside, visors down, weapons across their chests. "Routine check," one of them said. Scanning the room with his eyes, "We detected unauthorized heat signatures in this zone last week." Cole shrugged. "Just me," he said casually. "I fix old water systems and relay towers. Been here for months." One soldier stepped inside while the other stayed near the door. The scanner in his hand beeped softly, then blinked red. The soldier frowned. "We got a second heat reading from this area 2 nights ago." Cole scratched his head and gave a tired laugh. "Maybe my heater's acting up," he said. "It's old and overloaded." The soldier didn't laugh. He moved to the far side of the room and stared at the wall. "Mind if I check your storage unit?" he asked, already reaching for the handle. Cole's breath tightened. That wall hid the back room, the place where she was hiding. He stepped forward quickly. "Actually, that panel's unstable," he said. "Last guy who opened it got shocked." The soldier paused, then looked at him closely. After a long second, he stepped back. "We'll log your name," he said. "If you see anything strange, report it to the district office." Cole nodded. "Sure," he said. "Anything to help." The soldiers left without another word. Their boots stomped in the mud, and the drones followed above them like ghosts. Cole waited 5 full minutes before opening the back wall. The woman crawled out, shaking, her face pale. Tears slid down her cheeks. "I thought they would find me," she whispered. Cole gently placed his hands on her shoulders. "They didn't," he said. "You're safe." She covered her face and cried softly, "Back there." When I heard their voices, I thought it was all over. Cole helped her sit down. "They won't stop," she said. "They'll keep looking." Cole nodded slowly. "I know," he said. "That's why we need a new plan." That night, they moved supplies into the crawl space, just in case. Cole worked on an escape path, an underground tunnel leading to the next sector. The woman stayed quiet, but something had changed in her eyes. The fear had returned, deeper now. She knew she couldn't hide forever. Later, as the fire in the heater glowed soft orange, she spoke. "If they catch me, they'll take me back. To the breeding chambers," she whispered. "They'll force me to carry again." And again. Cole looked at her and said nothing. His fists were tight, his jaw clenched. She turned to him, eyes full of something more than fear, something like pleading. "Don't let them take me," she said, even if it means ending me first. Cole stood up suddenly and said, "No." His voice was steady. "Strong. No one's taking you, and I'm not losing you. You belong to yourself now." She looked at him, surprised. No one had ever said that to her. Before, in that moment, something shifted between them. Not just safety, but trust. The patrol had come, but they had left empty-handed. And now, Cole knew something clearly. This woman wasn't just someone to protect. She was someone worth fighting for, and next time the patrol came, he'd be ready. That night. The wind outside howled like a warning. The heater hummed quietly, filling the room with soft warmth. Cole sat on the floor, wiping grease off his hands, tools scattered beside him. The woman sat across from him, wrapped in a thick blanket. Her eyes were distant, staring at the flickering flame. Hours had passed since the patrol left, but the fear still hung in the air. Cole had learned not to force her to speak, but tonight she broke the silence. "I wasn't born like you," she whispered. Her voice was soft, like the wind outside. Cole looked up, listening. "I was made, not born," she continued, "grown inside a steel womb." Cole didn't speak, he just nodded. Showing he was there, she looked down at her hands. "From the day I could breathe, they injected me," she said. "Stuff to grow faster. Stuff to obey orders. Stuff to make me fertile." Her fingers clenched. "We weren't raised. We were programmed," she said. "We had numbers. Not names and schedules, not families." Cole felt a sharp ache in his chest. He had heard rumors of black site breeding programs, but he never imagined they were real. And now, one of those victims was sitting in front of him, alive but broken. They called it the Hope Project, she said bitterly. They took alien genes, my genes, and mixed them with human DNA. They wanted hybrids, ones who could carry children faster. Stronger, cheaper, Cole asked quietly. Why would they do that? She laughed without humor because soldiers need more soldiers. She said, and colonies need workers. If you can grow life instead of raise it, you save time. If you don't care about the person, only the result, you treat them like machines. Cole leaned forward. Did anyone ever try to help you? She shook her head. We were locked in silver rooms, always watched, always tested. If one of us cried too much, we were reset. If one of us refused a pregnancy, we were punished. Some of us didn't survive the experiments. Her voice dropped even lower. I escaped only because one of the scientists died during a system crash. There was a gap, just 10 minutes. I took it. I stole a coat, climbed into a trash drone, and dropped outside the base. Cole's hands tightened into fists. He imagined her, cold and scared, hiding in garbage just to be free. How long were you out before I found you? He asked gently. For days, she said. I hid in old ruins, ate moss, drank rain. I thought I would die, but I didn't care. But I didn't care. Anything was better than going back. Cole nodded slowly. Do you know what's inside you now? I asked carefully. She touched her belly, her face unsure. No, she said. It could be human. It could be mixed. They used many donors, many tests. I was one of the few that could carry something. Her hand trembled slightly. I don't know if it's normal or if it will survive, she whispered. But I want to try. I want to love it, hold it. Not raise it behind a glass wall. Cole moved closer and sat beside her. You're not in a lab anymore, he said gently. You're not someone's experiment, not someone's tool. You're a mother now. A free one. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. You talk to me like I matter. She said, you don't look at me like a thing, because you're not. Cole said, you're brave, more than anyone I've ever met. She turned toward him. You gave me a room, a blanket, a voice, she said. You gave me a chance, and you gave me a reason to care again. Cole replied, I was just fixing pipes, hiding from the world, but then you showed up, and suddenly I had something worth protecting. The room felt quiet, but it wasn't cold or empty. It felt full of truth, pain, and something new. Trust. She leaned her head gently on his shoulder. Hey. And for the first time since her escape, she breathed deeply, without fear. Cole didn't move. He sat still, warm and steady. Because now he understood she wasn't just running from something. She was running toward something, to a new life, a real life, and he was going to help her reach it, no matter what it cost. The days passed slowly. The sky was often gray and the winds sharp. But inside the small shelter, something gentle was growing. The woman, now showing signs of pregnancy, moved more confidently. She still had no name, but she had purpose now. Every morning she stood by the window, touching her stomach, whispering words only her child could hear. Cole watched her from a distance. He had seen many things in his life: broken machines, broken systems, broken promises. But this quiet strength in a woman once treated like a tool, moved something deep inside him. He began building new layers of defense around the shelter. He upgraded the signal scrambler, changed the energy patterns, made the heat signature look like an empty ruin. Still, he felt it in his bones. Someone would return, and this time they wouldn't knock. They would come with scanners, weapons, and orders to take her away. Cole didn't talk about the danger. Not to her. She was already carrying enough weight. Instead, he taught her how to hide better, where to run, how to use a comm device if she needed help. But the truth was, if they came in full force, running wouldn't be an option. One afternoon, while she was resting, Cole walked to the nearby trade post to get supplies. It was a small place built into an old transport bay. He handed over some spare tools in exchange for food and thermal cloth. But as he turned to leave, he overheard two scavengers talking behind the crates. You hear? One said there's a reward: high-value female asset went missing. Part of some secret program. Cole stopped moving. Last known ping was near Sector 9. The other said, the one with the dead zones? That's not far. The first whispered, bet she's hiding out there. Maybe with help. Cole didn't speak, didn't breathe. He left quietly and walked back fast, faster than before. By the time he reached the shelter, sweat was pouring down his neck despite the cold. She opened the door when he arrived, her eyes instantly filled with worry. What happened? She asked. He tried to stay calm. We need to be careful, he said. They're talking now. People are looking. Not just soldiers, scavengers too. She looked down at her growing belly. I'm making it harder, she whispered. I'm making you a target. Cole reached for her hand. No, he said. You're the reason I'm preparing better. You gave me something worth defending. That night, Cole installed silent alarms, buried metal traps, programmed the system to detect body heat at long range. He added a decoy entrance and reinforced the real one with a magnetic seal. He didn't sleep much, and neither did she. Then, 2 nights later, it happened. A loud crash outside, the sound of metal hitting stone. The woman woke with a gasp. Holding her belly tightly, Cole grabbed his weapon and checked the cameras. 3 figures near the back wall. One trying to break the lock. Not soldier scavengers. They weren't here to rescue her. They were here to trade her for credits. Cole rushed out through the side door, moving fast. The wind was cold and dry, and the night silent, except for the sound of boots in mud. He approached from behind, surprising them. Back off, he shouted, his weapon raised. The scavengers turned quickly. One of them pulled a blade. You got no claim on her. The man sneered. She's worth millions. And you're just a pipe fixer. Cole didn't answer. He fired a warning shot into the ground. The blast lit up the dark for a second. The men hesitated, then ran, disappearing into the shadows. Cole stood there, heart pounding, weapon still warm in his hand. He went back inside and found her sitting on the floor, breathing hard, I thought. "I thought they got you," she whispered. He kneeled beside her. "I told you," he said. "No one's taking you." She clutched his hand and said with tears in her eyes, "I'll give you the child, just don't send me away. I'll stay quiet. I'll work. I'll raise the baby alone if I have to. Just don't abandon me." Cole looked at her not as a project, not as a problem, but as someone real. He placed his hand gently over hers and said, "You don't have to. Give me anything. You already gave me something. You gave me a reason to stand, to fight, to care again." She broke into tears, this time not from fear, but from something new, something like hope. They sat in silence for a while, and outside, the alarm lights blinked softly. The world was still dangerous, still full of shadows, but inside that small room, a new light had begun to grow. It wasn't just the child. It was the bond between them, unspoken, powerful, and ready to face whatever came next. The days grew darker. Clouds hung low over the valley, and the wind carried whispers of trouble. Cole checked the scanners every morning. The signals were getting stronger, drones flying low, satellite patterns shifting. He knew the peace wouldn't last much longer. Someone had finally found them, inside the shelter. She moved slower now. Her belly was large, round, glowing slightly under her skin. The child was almost ready, and with each passing hour, her breathing became heavier, but she didn't complain. She simply said, "If I can hold her once, just once, it will be enough." Cole couldn't accept that. "You'll hold her every day," he said. "No one's going to take her from you." But deep inside, fear was growing. They were running out of time, and the next attack wouldn't be scavengers. It would be the ones in black armor with red marks on their helmets, government agents, the ones who called her property. That night, Cole was awake, working on the backup power grid. A soft alarm buzzed low, but urgent. He rushed to the screen, and there it was. A group of heat signatures, 10 or more, moving fast toward the shelter. Drones above them, scanning the ground like hawks. They were coming, and this time, there was no doubt they were here for her. Cole ran inside. She was already sitting up, holding her stomach, her face pale. Her eyes met his. "They're here," she said, her voice calm but trembling. "Yes," Cole replied, "but so is the defense system. And I'm not letting them near you." He activated the barrier's energy shields rose from the ground. Metal walls shifted to lock. The field around the shelter hummed as the outer defenses charged. Cole checked the control pad. Lasers were armed, traps set, and smoke screens ready. But just as he was sealing the final lock, he heard her cry out. He turned fast and saw her fall to her knees, clutching her belly, her face twisted in pain, her body shaking. "It's starting," she gasped. "The baby's coming now." Cole's heart pounded. Outside, the red lights of approaching soldiers flashed between the trees. Inside, the woman was in labor. There was no time left. He moved quickly, helping her lie down on the softest part of the floor. He grabbed towels, clean water, a light kit he never thought he'd need. She gritted her teeth, sweat pouring down her face. "I'm scared," she whispered. "What if she's not normal? What if I'm not strong enough?" Cole wiped her forehead gently. "She's ours," he said, "and you are the strongest person I've ever known." Outside, the battle began. Lasers fired, drones exploded in the sky. Smoke covered the hillside. The soldiers tried to break the barrier, but Cole's defense system was built for war. He had upgraded every inch, knowing this day would come. But inside, the war was different, quieter. Painful, full of breath and struggle, she screamed, gripping his hand. Time felt slow, stretching between each breath. And then, finally, it happened. A small cry filled the room. The baby was born tiny, glowing faintly, with soft alien markings on her cheeks and small human fingers. Cole held the child, stunned. The little girl opened her eyes and looked at him, eyes that were violet, full of life and new. He wrapped her gently in a blanket and placed her in her mother's arms. The woman wept not from pain, but from joy. "She's perfect," she whispered. "She's everything I dreamed." Cole smiled. "You did it," he said. "You brought her into a world that didn't want her. But now she's here." Then the door creaked. A shadow moved near the entrance. Cole grabbed his weapon, ready to fight, but what entered was not what he expected. A soldier stepped forward, dread stripes on his armor. High rank, but he held no weapon, only a scanner in his hand. He looked at the baby, then at the woman, then at Cole. "We were told this was an empty zone," the soldier said slowly. His voice was calm. Cole raised his weapon, but the man didn't move. The soldier turned and spoke into his comm. "False alert," he said. "Nothing here." Then he looked at Cole again. "You have 5 minutes," he whispered. "Get out of sight, change your signal code, disappear," before Cole could speak. The man walked out and vanished into the smoke. Cole stood frozen for a moment, then moved fast. He powered down all systems, grabbed emergency bags, and helped her stand. She held the baby close to her chest, walking slowly but steady. Together, they stepped into the underground tunnel Cole had built weeks ago. Behind them, the shelter faded into silence. Ahead of them, a new life waited. The tunnel was dark and cold. The only light came from a small lantern in Cole's hand. The woman held the newborn close to her chest, wrapped in thick cloth. The baby made soft sounds, tiny breaths echoing through the narrow walls. They walked slowly, carefully, one step at a time. Behind them, the shelter that once kept them safe was now gone, buried under smoke, ash, and silence. But they didn't look back, because everything they truly needed was right there with them. Cole had built the tunnel months ago, never sure if they'd need it. Now it was their only way forward. The passage led through old mining routes, forgotten paths under the hills. No scanners could reach here, no drones could fly this deep after hours of walking. They reached the end. Cole climbed up first and cleared the way. Then he reached down and helped her out, careful not to wake the baby. They came out into a thick forest where tall trees blocked the sky and the wind smelled of moss and rain. They rested in a small cave that night. Cole started a quiet fire, warming a small pot of soup. She sat near him, rocking the baby gently. "She doesn't cry much," she whispered. "She knows she's safe," Cole replied, smiling over the next few days. They traveled deeper into the wild. Cole had found an abandoned research station. On one of his old maps, no one lived there anymore. It was deep in the green zone, far from cities and sensors when they reached it. The place was covered in vines and leaves, but the structure was strong. He cleaned it slowly, fixed broken wires, sealed the leaks. The woman cleaned a small room and made it soft with blankets. She laid the baby down for the first time in a bed that wasn't made of fear. And for the first time, she smiled without hiding it. A real smile, full of peace. The baby grew fast. In just a few weeks, she opened her eyes often, stared at faces, kicked her legs. Her skin shimmered gently, a mix of human warmth and alien beauty. They named her Hope, because that's what she brought into their world one day. While Cole was fixing a broken solar panel outside, the woman came to him. She looked different, stronger, more calm. She handed him a cup of warm tea and sat beside him. "I never thought I'd live like this," she said. "No one ever held me without hurting, or looked at me without wanting something. But you saw me before I even knew who I was." Cole looked at her. "And you stayed when I didn't even know I needed someone," he said. "You gave me a reason to stop surviving." and start living. She looked down at the cup, then said quietly, "I want a name." Cole raised his eyebrows. "You do?" She nodded. "I've been thinking," she said, "about something gentle." "Something free, Lyra," she whispered. "That name feels right to me." Cole smiled wide. "Lyra it is," he said. "It suits you." From that day on, she was no longer the woman, no longer Unit 7 Beta. She was Lyra Mother. Survivor, fighter, and free soul. The name gave her power, and she used it. She built gardens around the station, grew food with her hands. She told hope stories at night, songs from a language long forgotten. Cole built furniture from wood, hung lanterns made of old glass. They didn't just hide, they created a life, a real life. Months passed, no one came looking anymore. Cole checked the skies often, but there were no signals, no heat pings. It was like they had been erased from the system. Maybe the soldier who helped them that night had buried their file. Maybe someone, somewhere, decided to give them a second chance. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, casting golden light through the windows, Lyra stood by the doorway holding hope. She looked at Cole and said, "Do you ever wonder why you didn't walk away that first night?" Cole stood beside her and took hope in his arms. "I think the moment I saw you, shaking in the rain, something changed," he said. "I didn't know what it was then, but now I know," he whispered. "You were already my family," Lyra leaned her head on his shoulder. Hope cooed softly between them, and in that quiet golden moment, no war, no pain, no past existed. Only the present warm. Peaceful, real, they had nothing but each other. And that was enough, because out of fear came strength, out of pain came love, and out of darkness came hope.